But look at this though. It's like I'm standing in the middle of a zombie horde with a zombie force field. G'day guys, my name's Josh. Yo, can call me Ja Woodle, and welcome back once again to 7 Days to Die Alpha 17, where we have returned after quite a long spell to Ja Woodle Park, the proving ground of all things zombie AI that has seen some better days. It's a little bit glitchy, a little bit broken, there's a wall of grass all around the outside, and it's infested with floating trees, but whatever, it should still serve the purpose that we need. And its purpose today, just like every day, is to test out some new ideas about how to better control zombie AI, how to bend them to my will and make them do exactly what I want them to do every time, whenever I want them to do it. And today's idea actually stems from a previous build from a little while ago, this one over here, the original attempt at a looting corridor. The idea being that you could hang out under the floor over here, all the zombies would die on top either from traps or you could kill them yourself, and you can just reach up through the arrow slits and grab whatever loot they do drop. But what we discovered when we made this is that zombies apparently don't like pathing across arrow slits. They just kind of freak out at the end over there. For some reason, having tiny little gaps in their pathway just does their tiny little like decaying brains in, even though they'll happily walk across wedge tips and 1/8 blocks. But they get to this, freak out, and run the other way. So I was thinking, is there a way for me to exploit that, to take that pathfinding bug and make it so my life in 7 Days to Die is just a little bit safer and control the zombies even more? So to show you exactly what I mean, I'm going to put in a couple of Chelseas just down the end of this corridor. In fact, I'll get your attention, make sure you run the right way. Yep, there we go. Look, they're all ready and primed to run straight up here across the arrow slits and get to me, but they're not going to do that. I'll put my body down here inside the safety cage and pop myself out of my brain. There we go, have my sweet out-of-body experience so I can watch what they do, because as soon as I turn on their AI, they're just not going to want a bar of it. They get to the top, they get to the arrow slits and decide, you know what, it's going to be easier for me to beat my way through a solid steel wall than run the very clear and obvious path down here. So they really do not like the arrow slits. I'll quickly just murder all of you guys. Thank you for demonstrating that for me, Chels. You're always a gem. You're always on my side, unlike that stupid bitch Arlene. So, I can leave here. That's the premise. That's the idea. I'm going to head out into a flat area on the outskirts of Ja Woodle Park, where I haven't built something before, and start doing some testing. I want to see if I can use that to protect myself from the zombies without me having to do anything. The first thing I want to see is if I just put, like, just a platform of arrow slits like this. I mean, it's probably... I probably shouldn't build it up in the air like that. It's probably going to make it a little bit harder. But if I just build a platform of arrow slits and then stand on top of it, will the zombies still try and path to get to me? Or will they find another way? Or is that like, if their only option is the arrow slits, then they're more likely to run across it? I don't know. We won't know until we do a quick little test. But that's what this is all about. You know, you have an idea, you test out the fundamental theories, and once you find out how it actually works, then you can start building on top of it. That's what Ja Woodle Park was designed to do. There we go. There is me standing right in the middle of my platform here. I'm not really holding much high hopes for this because I'm a level above the ground, but we need to test it out first to see how they react to this. We got a couple of Chelseas in. They're immediately off to the races. Oh, they're up and they're running and they're... Oh, okay, so they do path across, well, some of them do, path across the arrow slits. I guess if it's the only option, I don't know, that's kind of interesting. I was expecting something different there. I was expecting them to get to the edge here and just beat their way through, but that's okay. Unexpected results are still good results. We just need to build up from that. So we're going to replace this block over here because I did some damage. So maybe I'm thinking that maybe they're okay with pathing across that because it's directly attached to the ground. I mean, it doesn't look like it is, but that block, the space that block is taking up is directly attached to the ground over there, whereas in the loot corridor Mark 1, there was a gap underneath it. So maybe, I'm going to actually have to get some more, let's get some wood blocks just to build around the outside here, just to make sure this whole thing doesn't collapse in a heartbeat. So if I build like a scaffold to hold this up and then make a big pit underneath it, so there's no, like this isn't actually attached to the ground, maybe that will fool their pathing into think there's not actually something there. Because at the moment, I think that they think they are just running on the ground. God, why was that a hard sentence to say? I need more coffee. Oh, that's good squishy. That's good squishy. So some of you guys may not actually know, I legit bought myself a coffee machine for the office the other day. It sits over there just outside a camera shot. So now I can just grab my mug, reach over and refill on caffeine whenever I want. I don't have to leave my wonderful chair. Whether or not me being able to replenish my caffeine so easily is a good or bad thing, I'm not sure yet. The jury is probably still out on that one. But I was talking about wanting one in the Patreon Discord, and they were like, dude, just go fucking buy one then. And I was like, oh, okay. So I listened to them and bought myself a coffee machine. So if you guys want to tell me what to do in my day-to-day life and just like order me around, go join the Patreon Discord and you can boss me around to your heart's content. But while I was getting my coffee, I did also change the design just a little bit, and I sunk the whole lot into the ground because I was kind of thinking that, oh, I missed a pillar there, put a pillar back in, there we go. I was kind of thinking a couple of those Chelseas rolled up and tried to beat their way through the arrow slits instead of jumping up and running across the top. So that's kind of a variable that I don't want to deal with. If I remove that entirely and sink the whole lot down, then I should get a more consistent result, and we should be able to actually see what the Chelseas are going to do when they come up against the arrow slits. So I'll put a bunch more Chelseas in, just all the way over here. There we go. Move my camera around again. Okay, here we go. What are you going to do this time, Chels? Show me what you got. Show me how you got to think. Oh, did you see that? They ran onto the slots and then okay, they're tunneling the way underneath. They ran onto here, onto the first block, stopped, even though they could probably reach me from there, and decided to go a different route. They tunneled their way underneath, which is interesting. In fact, if I keep them going for a while, what are they going to do down here? They're still tunneling through. They're beating on the supports. So do they now see me as being, I mean, I guess they're kind of doing that because they're stuck underneath. I might have to do another test to figure out if I build them a way out, if they'll continue to do that. But that's promising. That's good. That's kind of what I was hoping for. Kind of the end goal here is I want to make a moat out of arrow slots to protect the base. I mean, because if the zombies can't actually get up to the walls of the base, you don't have to worry about defense as much. You can kind of make it an AFK base of sorts. So I wanted to see if that's possible. And so far, it's looking a little bit promising. We're going to try this again. I've got a couple of Chelseas just outside here, but I've built them a ramp to get out. Very much like the AFK base way back in the day. Oh, there's another block missing there. Quickly replace you. We're good. Yep, we're good. Okay, so hopefully this time they'll run over here, maybe do the same thing again and try and beat their way down through this. But then they'll get down the bottom underneath here and think, oh, my pathing's all cooked again. I better leave, go up here and try again. So let's see if that works out anywhere near as much as I was hoping for. Yep, they're all coming. One's going straight down the ramp. Interesting. These girls are stuck up the top. They're beating on the thing. What are you doing down? Okay, you need to stop doing that. That's not a great sign if one runs straight down to beat on the pylons instead. Okay, interesting. So the arrow slots are working, but they're also targeting those support pillars underneath. That's not very good. That's going to end in tears at some point. Let's replace these, get rid of all the Chelseas, repair all the damage, and we'll try something else. I'm kind of going to mesh both ideas together, and instead of sinking the whole thing into the ground like I did last time, I'm going to go around the outskirts here and build it up a block, so it's all actually like sitting on the deck nicely like this, so there isn't like a specific spot for them to target when they do fall through, or if they do fall through. But I also want to see if I can maybe put some ramps or like stairs or something running outside to then remove the chance of them breaking through as well. So that, hopefully that'll work out in my favor. Then once they're down here, given that there's no particular weak point for them, maybe they'll take the ramp to get out that way, and that will make it a bit more of a repeatable result than last time, where, I mean, look, it worked, but it's going to end in tears eventually, because as soon as they fall through, unless I get a lucky shot through one of the arrow slits, they're going to break down the support pillars, and I'm going to fall into a pit full of very angry zombies. And that doesn't sound like a very good idea, like trying to take on a cassowary in a box on. That's going to end in tears, and with your guts hanging all outside of you, all along the ground. So some of you may not know this because it's not one of the famous dangerous Australian animals, but a cassowary is the one thing I really do not want to get into a fight with. That thing is a legitimate dinosaur, and you know that scene in Jurassic Park with the raptor claws? Well, they've got 3 of those bad boys on each foot, and they will tear you apart like an ibis tears apart a bin bag. It's just not going to be a good time for you. Great, now I said ibis, I'm going to have the ibis song stuck in my head for like a week straight. It's an ibis, a picnic wrecking bronc. It's a catchy song about a rat with wings that everybody hates. How could you not get it stuck in your head? Alright, there we go. It's the raised platform with the arrow slits on the top. I'm still going to stand right in the middle here just to see how we go, and hopefully they will take the ramp up rather than destroying all my well-built stuff down the bottom here, because I really would like to keep it nice and pristine and not have it all get messed up within 3 seconds. But we won't know until we test it. So, Chelsea, if you wouldn't mind, a couple of you out there. Alright, here we go. What are you going to do this time? Yep, straight up and straight on. You're probably going to dig your way down again. This seems like, I mean, while they're doing all this nonsense, this seems like a pretty good opportunity. In fact, they're not digging down. Are you just going to do this all day? Like, what's going to happen here? I was going to say, while they're running around in circles like a chook with their heads cut off, you could probably take them with a sledgehammer and actually remove them of their heads. Then they're running around like Chelsea's with their heads cut off. But then they're not digging down at all now. They're just going to do this forever, are they? All right, well, let's put a couple more in and see if we've somehow stumbled across like the perfect amalgamation of arrow slits to raise to whatever. This is working perfect. Look at this. It's like I'm like a little barley zone. They're all trying to get me, but they can't touch me. Oh, they started breaking through, but they've actually broken through like the actual blocks of wood and not the arrow slits, which I think kind of just started them taking a couple of random swings and not actually getting to me. But look at this though. It's like I'm standing in the middle of a zombie horde with a zombie force field. I killed all the zombies and repaired all their damage. I never actually got to see if they were going to use the ramp to get out or not, given that they never actually made their way down here. But they definitely freaked out a lot more on this one than they have previously. And I think it's because there's no obvious weak point for them to attack. They can't come down here and start hacking at a support pillar because the whole ground is a support pillar. So that's very, very interesting. I'm starting to think though, I mean, there was a couple of little damages here and there, but I think it was from just their, like their random swings so they ran into each other because it was just too many zombies. I will replace these ones as well so there's not any cracks. So maybe if I start upgrading some of these blocks to maybe like iron or reinforced wood, because iron blocks actually aren't that expensive to make, like when you're actually trying to build your base out of them. Where like iron frame, there it is. There's only a couple there. What was the other ones? There was actually something better in here that I can't quite remember what it was. So I've done some upgrades around the outside here, and I've only done the first row of arrow slits and the solid wooden blocks on the outside, because that's the only places that the zombies seem to get to. So if I can stop them from beating through there quite as easily, maybe we'll see how they react to that. So, AI on, let's get them rocking and rolling. They come straight on, they don't do much at all. That is good for me, because I was kind of thinking, so if they're doing that around the outside and not doing anything of note, I could just stand here and just start swinging, if I can hit them maybe, and start swinging my bloody sledgehammer and dismembering them all around me without any real risk to me. God, that's satisfying. I don't care what kind of game stage you're in. If you can just like pop the head of a zombie at will, it's a good time. It's not quite as easy to do as it is in say like a corridor or anything like that, because they're moving around all over the freaking place like a snag in your Bunnings bread. But that's okay though. If you time it well, you can get some good hits on them and you can do a fair bit of damage. So they really don't know what to do, especially if you're moving around in here. They really can't figure out what they want to do to try and get to. They're not beating their way down anymore, so this is definitely a pretty good design for that. We're going to call this the zombie force field, because you could definitely take on, in fact there's a horde night coming up, you could definitely take on a horde doing just this, and I reckon it will work out pretty well. I mean, sure, it'd be reasonably hard to hit them with the sledgy, but if you time it well and you do it like that, what have you got to lose? I mean, and plus, this actually wasn't that expensive to build. Look, it took a fair bit of iron to upgrade. I think it took, I mean, I started like 6,000, so just over 3,000 iron to upgrade this, and this is a 10 by 10 square. But I mean, I haven't done any damage to it. In regards to like upkeep, there kind of is none. So I might just fast forward to the end of this and see how it's going to hold up against a horde, because I reckon it's going to do pretty bloody well. The horde's about to roll in, and it is a day 48 horde, so it's pretty high up there, but I'm only level 63, so, I mean, the game stage probably isn't going to be too high. It should be reasonable, I think. I'm going to give it a red hot crack either way. We're not going to know how this is going to fare unless we just give it a try, and this is still only wood and iron as well. I didn't bother upgrading anything, because I just want to see how this is going to fare. Where are they coming from? Where are they? Where are you? I know you're coming from somewhere. Oh, well, the first one's a dog. Okay, well, that's good. I didn't test the dogs before, but the dog's doing nothing. Dog's got no idea what to do. They're all just milling about on the outside. So do I actually have to do anything here? If I see someone start taking any swings, I'm going to start shooting them. But like... Oh, yeah, okay, there's some swingers going around at the back there, but they're just kind of getting stuck on each other. It's not because they're trying to beat their way through, it's just because they're getting caught on each other and trying to hit their way through, because that's the way the zombie AI works. But I am safe as houses right here. They're never going to get me. Once again, the only danger here is going to be, like, cops or vultures or anything like that. Something that doesn't need to pass over this or could spit at me from distance. Or maybe a spider zombie as well. Let's try that. Let's get, a spider zombie. Let's go feral. Let's get you out there. What are you going to do? Are you going to jump at me, or are you gonna... Oh, well, you jumped to the arrow slots. There we go. Okay, so he can jump over. That's fine. But I'm like, you're only at risk of 3 kinds of zombies, not everyone else. Hey, I saw that. What are you doing? Did you do any damage? Doesn't look like it. Oh, this is just too easy. It's too good. Oh, I love it. I'm happy with this. Gonna take him with the sledgy because, I mean, look, if you've got an opportunity like this, you're not gonna waste your ammo trying to, like, shoot him in the face, are you? You'll save your oh shit shotgun for your oh shit moments. Ow! I got a little bit too close to the edge. That's okay. You're not gonna waste your ammo shooting them when they're basically just zombies in a barrel. You're gonna sit back with your sledgy if you get a little bit closer and not be a muppet. Come on, actually hit it, Josh. It's blurring as shit because I'm bleeding out of my asshole right now. There we go, that's a bit better. You're really gonna, like, duck and weave. You come out here, take a swing, and then go back inside. But as long as I stay in the middle here, I'm completely safe. I've got nothing to worry about. I've got one more idea that might make it a little bit better for me, and I think maybe if I go like this and place barbed wire, oh my god, that was loud. Place barbed wire all around the outside here. Excuse me, love, can you just get out of the way? This is a construction zone, and you're not wearing your hard hat. In fact, am I wearing my hard hat? Yes, I am. Okay, go around like that, and like that, all the way through there. So if I put barbed wire like this, when they get close enough to me for melee to be an option, I think that, oh, you're in the way too. Get out of the way, bitch. Ah, move. But yeah, if I can do that, then maybe I'll have a better chance with my awful melee skills to actually do some damage to him rather than just swinging and missing all the goddamn time. All the way through here, there's a bunch of zombie dog corpses. Out of the way, please. I need to get this done. There we go. The barbed wire is up and looking nice and solid. How are they going to react to that? Is that going to mess with their pathing at all? Are they going to touch the barbed wire at all? Actually, let's get the hammer out so we can see if they do any damage. Doesn't look like it, but they are getting slowed down. So you can have a nice little safe exterior like that. You can stand in here. I mean, they're taking swings at each other, but that's okay. I don't really have anything to worry about here. They got to the barbed wire. I hit him in the chest with my sledgehammer. Ow, I walked into my own barbed wire. That was silly. There we go. That's so much better. That's so much better. God, I'm surprised at how well this was working. Like, it was just an idea, and I thought that it might, like, fool a couple of zombies. I didn't think it'd work this well, because this is out-frickin-standing. There's not really much more to say about this. Hey, I know a lot of people are going to get real mad about it and be like, oh, it's just a cheese move. Why bother playing the game? It's like, dude, this is just what the game is. This is what it's all about. Finding the easiest solution to the problem is part of human nature, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. And look, they're probably going to patch this out in Alpha 18. They've already laid down the challenge that they're going to patch out my killing corridor for Alpha 18, to which I say, I accept your challenge. I look forward to breaking your game all over again. But this is so much better. If you wanted a cheap horde base that was much easier to build than a killing corridor in a pinch, and you wanted to, like, make sure that you're upping your melee skills and stuff like that, you didn't have much ammo, so you wanted to come out and just punch them all to death, this seems like an absolutely foolproof way to do it. Look, even when they get a little bit close to me, they don't do much damage, and if they do, in fact, if they try and punch me, if I stand right here, do you hit me? You do hit me. I thought maybe they just hit the barbed wire, but it seems like it can do some damage if you're silly, but if you play this smart, you got nothing to worry about. Because this is a part of Jawoodle Park, I'm giving it a nice paint job, and it doesn't really need much. It's going to be simple and, like, understated. Just a little bar of red around the outside is all it really needs, because we all know that aesthetics are super important. In fact, probably the most important thing of the zombie apocalypse. If you can only survive by building yourself some butt-ugly base, don't even bother. Just throw yourself to the zombies, do us all a favor. We don't need eyesores in the apocalypse. All the residents are eyesores. We don't need any more. So there was only those 2 blocks of damage too. That's really not that much, and I am going to actually get my paintbrush and I'm going to get the texture of the wood and paint these wood as well. Even though they're iron, I think it's just going to look better having some wood on it rather than that ugly, ugly, ugly iron texture. Some of the texture in this game are just atrocious, so you got to paint over it with something a little bit better. So you fix all that up, all across there. That looks much, much better. It turns out the ramp didn't do a whole lot, and I kind of want to test it again with some more zombies and get rid of the ramp to see if it works out a little bit better. It's a good, like, little like fallback, I guess, even though they didn't use it when there was some proper supports there. But as soon as I got rid of those supports, they gave no shits about trying to beat their way down and just kind of freaked out up the top, and I was happy as Larry, safe as houses inside there. So I don't really know. I'll get rid of the ramp and try it again and see if it's still secure as a kangaroo's pouch, but we won't know until we try it. There is a bunch more stuff I want to do to test this and see what its limits actually are, but while it's in this very basic and easy to understand configuration, I'm going to go through exactly how it works and kind of lay it all out to kind of clear up any dirty air, get rid of any grey area, so you know exactly what you have to do to get this to work properly in your world. And the important thing here is that it's all centered, it's all connected to the ground. There's no support pillars down here, it is all even all the way around. So there's no easy spot. In fact, there's a little hole there. I might just get rid of that. It was even working with a hole in the wall, which is nice to know. But yeah, there's no like specific weak point for the zombies to target. So if you had pillars down here, as we saw earlier, that will drop down and attack the pillars, and that will end badly for you. But if you dig a relatively small hole and attach the arrow slots to solid blocks that are attached to the ground, so it's all sitting on the deck nice and securely, then you shouldn't really have any issues. And then up the top, you've just got some stairs so they can find their way up nice and easily, and that leads them onto a solid block of wood or iron or whatever you want to do. The stronger the better. And then you've got the arrow slots just there, because they won't ever go past that. In fact, they didn't do any damage to the barbed wire way back when. The only damage to the barbed wire was me being an idiot and walking into my own trap. So and once again, with the barbed wire, because it is actually taking up this whole kind of slot there on top of the iron, on top of the arrow slots rather, then as soon as the zombies step onto the arrow slots, they get slowed down like I am here. Don't do any damage to that, and then eventually run back out. But that'll give you enough time to punch them in the face with your big dick sledgehammer. So that's how it works. It's super simple. There's no tricks or there's no hard to understand tricks. It's definitely a gimmick and definitely taking advantage of the zombie AI. But that's all there is to it. Nice and simple, nice and easy, which is the best way. The less complicated things there are, the less things there are to get fucked up. So what I want to know is if you can use this to be a defense mechanism for your actual base. Rather than just a standalone horde base like I normally build, if you can live in this as well as have it to defend against the horde. And it'll also stop like the wandering hordes from cruising through and screamer hordes, all that kind of stuff, because they can't get to you if they can't path across the arrow slot. So that's kind of my idea, but I didn't build this thing big enough to build like a little hut in the middle for me to live in. So instead, I'm going to work on the idea of an underground base. Now we've tested that before, and we made the zombie slot or the envelope slot or whatever you want to call it. I think I called it the zombie slot way back when, which worked out pretty well, but it wasn't as easy to get in and out of that thing. It was a little bit more convoluted, a little bit more difficult. With this, if you can make a force field around your entry point and your exit point, then you don't really have much to worry about at all, do you? So we're going to get some hatches, because after all, you don't want to fall down here and break your legs in the middle of fighting a horde. How's that opening? Like that. And we're going to go, like that. That should open the right way. It didn't. How did I stuff that up? How did I cook that? I bloody hate the hatches. I hate the hatches so much. Like that. There we go. And like there. So there. Yeah, okay. So you got the hatches in the middle, so you can go down to your base, way down the bottom, and like actually live down there. But if you need to fight the horde off, you can come back upstairs, close all your hatches like that and like that, get out your sledgy, and start cracking some skulls. So hopefully that will work. But I did just explain that it worked so well because there was no weak points or direct weak points underneath for the zombies to target. And I've immediately broken that rule by building myself a nice, like, big column right in the middle here that's gonna, I think it's gonna cook with the zombies. They're gonna see this as something to attack, and they're gonna come down and potentially ruin everything. But we won't know until we try. So let's put ourselves right on top of the hatches over here just to get maximum effect to see if there is any sort of issues with the pathfinding. Get a bunch of Chelseas out there. That wasn't... Oh, God. Did I just spawn normals, not ferals? No, they're ferals. Okay, good. I was going to say, I don't have time to wait for them to figure out how to find their way to me. Here we do, guys. Okay, what are you two going to do? I'm going to spawn a couple of your friends in. Ow! Oh, I started a little bit too close. A little bit too close. Now, okay, so as long as I stand in the middle, I'm okay. They're not tunneling down, and they're doing good. Okay, good. So what happens if I go to the bottom of this then? If I could get through the freaking hatch drawbridge, there we go. If I sit down here at the bottom of my little, like, safety area and just go like this and have a look up the top. Yeah, no, that broke them. They're definitely trying to, like, seeing it as more of an option to get through to me now. Okay, that didn't work. That's not great. We just have to continue to use this as, like, a fighting platform as opposed to a base defense. All right, you guys can stop. Thank you for testing that out, but please stop destroying my shit. Oh, I didn't even think of that. They're just gonna drop loot right there too, so you can access your loot in the middle of a fight and not have to worry about it. That's good. That's real good. Okay, so the path down to the basement didn't work out well for me. Probably not worth doing. If you're gonna do this, probably don't worry about that. Just make it like this floating platform above the hole. That's definitely how it works best. You can, like, you know, modify it however you want and take risks and stuff like that. But the only Jawoodle indoors, the Jawoodle Park tested theory is this one, without anything underneath, without any of things for them to target if they do fall through. That's how it works the best. She really took some damage in that one, didn't you? You make one little adjustment and suddenly everything goes wrong. Not only were they trying to beat their way through the barbed wire, they were also trying to jump over the barbed wire. So it definitely cooked like the fault in their AI by giving them something to think about targeting down below. Doing all the repairs and stuff. That's not what I wanted to do. God damn it. I hate when I do that. I hate it when I actually upgrade stuff. That's why you'll very rarely see me rolling around with a nail gun or anything like that, because you make one false click. I don't have my bloody paintbrush anymore. Oh no, that's right there. Never mind. Yeah, I'll never roll around with the nail gun because one false click means you accidentally upgrade something that you didn't want to upgrade, and then you have to like break it down again for the sake of aesthetics. And plus, you run the risk of like wasting materials as well. Let's copy you and put you in there and fix you. There we go. Back to a former glory. It looks cool as well. It looks so unassuming and easy, but that's somewhere for you to stand and defend, harvest the XP, harvest the loot, all of that all rolled into one, and you don't have to waste any ammo. That's bloody perfect. My favorite thing about this isn't even what I came here to build today. The design in my head was completely different, and I talked about that before, but through the testing and experimenting, we discovered that something like this might work, so we built it, tested it, and sure enough, it does work. And that's what I love about experimenting in Gerudo Park. Sometimes you just accidentally stumble across something. You stumble ass first into something awesome, like falling into a wheelie bin and discovering that you can slide down a hill really well in it. Sometimes something just happens, and it's so good when you accidentally discover something cool. So this is the Zombie Forcefield Horde Base, and it works an absolute treat if you build it properly. But I'll have to come back and build what I originally designed in my head in another episode, because this episode is done. So thank you guys for watching. Most of all, thank you to the patrons on Patreon who made this episode possible. If you liked it, make sure to like button down below and subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter. If I don't talk to you there first, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.